Cheers. Once there was a wizard. Once there was a wizard. This was a wizardy wizard. And he had a friend named Terence. And these guys, like, did stuff, right? They're like, there's nothing going on, let's go out. They're kind of, so there's the wizard right there. And then there's the raccoon guy. He's not very, it's kind of dark, so you can't really see nothing. It's early. Just chilling, and they're like, what do we do? I don't know. What do you want to do today? You know, that kind of thing. And they're like, well, there's a bunch of these, like, crazy plants over there, right? And, like, he was telling him, like, before this, don't look over here. Before this, he's like, man, I know a place where there's, like, all these crazy, like, man-eating plants, and they can bite your foot off and stuff. He's like, I bet you there's some really good stuff on the other side of that. And he's like, oh, okay. So they made these stilts, and they went across the crazy man-eating plants, or the foot-eating plants, those guys. And then they, like, went across. He's like, we're going, let's go. Look, he went right through that guy. He just, like, went right through the plant's head, bleeding all over the place. Look at, and then, like, right here, he's, like, stomping him out. He's got feet on the bottom of his. How did he do that? I don't know. And then they get to this place, and he's like, does the little magical thing. He's like, we gotta find what's up. And then they find this cave right here. Check it out. They find it. I think it goes like this. So they find this cave, and they're like, let's go down there. I don't know what's down there. There's like a picture of something, and then they put their stilts right there, and they went down into the cave. And he's got a ball of light, so they can see down in the cave, you know. So they go down there. So then they're in the cave. Here they go. There's a bunch of bats coming down at Terrence. He's like, oh crap. And he's got the light, so they're not coming at him. They're just, like, leaving him alone. And then they come across this big doorway right here. Look at it. It's got an eyeball on top of it. And there's like, yeah, look at that. And then he was like, boing, with his little light ball. And then, creak, the door opened. And then the bats came down, like, ah! And then they got in the door just in the nick of time. And the bats were about to get him. And the door closed. And they got in there. And then they were like, oh my gosh, what's going on in here? And they're like, oh, what? And there's the door slamming behind them with the bats out there. The bats are out there on the other side of that door right there. So then they see this guy over here. He's on the other side of the cave. He's got square boobs, and his nipples are right there, and then he's got one eye. Look, he's got one eye. He's got these little guys that they're helping him out, holding the light up, because they're in the cave. And then, look at the, Vigo and Terence are like, oh, what's going on here? You know, they're like, who's this guy? And then you go over to the next one, and then he's like, they're really little, right? They're like these little tiny guys, and he's really big. He's like, I've got this ball of light here. Would you like to look into my ball of light? And he's like, I know stuff about balls of light. And he's like, I've never seen a ball of light. And so, like, what's going on here? Oh, look it. And then so, like, there's the little guard dudes. Okay, so then this is a view from the giant guy, right? He's holding his hand down there. He's got the ball of light. He's got this, it looks like a vortex or something going in there. And then there's the wizard, and there's Terrence, and they're looking. They're like, what's in there? What is that? Can we go there? And then so then they fell in. You know, they fell into his little ball of. It was a vortex. They did. They fell in. They totally fell in there. And then they're not safe. And then they traveled through space. They were like outside of the planet. They were like traveling through this tunnel of light. And then they landed on this new planet. They like fell down through time and space. And then this planet with really big trees. And then they were there. They're like, we're here. And then Terrence was like, where are we? And then there was all these little dudes that just looked at him. They're like, what are these guys? Who are these guys? They're from space. And it is a planet of bears. There's bears, all kinds of bears. And so my pictures get really sketchy right here, but you might be able to see what's going on. So there's a bunch of bears here. These bears are different kinds of bears. There's bee bears, there's tree bears, there's ocean bears. There's like all these different kinds of bears, right? There's flying bears. So then Terrence and him go on a bunch of adventures there in this new planet. They're just like all over the place, swinging from trees and jumping from mushroom to mushroom and going and visiting the tree bears and the sky bears. And they're like chilling out there, and they like finally find this dude who tells them, this guru guy right here, you can see him, look, he's a guru bear. He's like up in his little cave. They find him and they're like, how do we get back to our planet? And so like he's like, oh, you gotta go to this temple. So they go to this temple and they travel, they go really far, and they get to I didn't draw any of that part. So they go to the temple, and they find out there's like these hieroglyphic things that show like a portal and how to get out of there. And so like they go up to the thing, and it shows like directions. They gotta find all these different colors, and then they gotta find this magic paintbrush. And oh, the guru guy like gave him the paintbrush. That's right. So at the cave, he's like, here, take this. And he gives him this giant paintbrush, and it's like a staff, right? And so, and on the paintbrush, it's got like directions to the thing somehow. And then they go up there, and they're at the temple there, and they go inside, and then they see these hieroglyphic things that I was talking about. And it's like, it says, to get back to your home planet, you gotta get all these colors together. And so they're like, colors, what? And then so you gotta get all the ingredients for all the paints, because you can't go to, there's no Michaels there, you can't go to the store and go buy paint. So they gotta go they gotta go out and talk to all the bee people again, and then they go to the bear bee people, and then they go out there and they find like purple, not purple, they find red and yellow and, all the colors, but they're called something different, and one of them is like a flower, one of them is a rock, and then they bring it back and they mash it up, and they go out on another quest, and they go find the other things, and they bring it back, and the last one is they get all the colors, and then they go back to the temple and they paint this picture of like their home in this one little spot on the wall, that's blank. They like paint a picture of their home, where they're from, their little house, right? And so where the whole story starts. So then they paint the house, but they're like missing one color. Like their door is purple, right? You know, the door to their house is purple, and so they gotta go out and find purple, and there's no purple anywhere. They don't know how to find it. They're looking, and nobody knows about it. There's no bears out there who even know what purple is, and so they can't find it anywhere. There's no purple in that world, you know. So they're like, well, you know, this is kind of a nice place. I think we'll hang out here and just chill because we know everybody now, you know. And they're like, this place is actually better than home. So we're just gonna stay. So they're all sitting around the fire and they're playing music. Everybody's playing like a different thing, and they're all getting along and having the harmony, and the moon is like full and everything. And then all of a sudden, because everybody's getting together and they're playing music, like everybody's hearts are all like, and this light comes out of them and it goes into the air and it makes purple. And then like because they were all together playing music and having a good time, and they let go of whatever they thought they needed, they made like this purple light, and then the light like went up, and then they're all what? And then someone grabbed a jar, and then they caught the purple, and then they went back and they painted the picture, and they stepped through the thing, and they went home, and they were like, yes! And they were like, do you want to come with us? And then a bunch of the bear people came back with them, and then they came back to America. Or wherever they're from. Then they came back with a bunch of a bee bear, a fish bear, a llama bear, and I think did the guru bear come? I don't know if the guru bear came. I think the guru bear stayed. He's like, no, I'm good. I got a cave. So that's the story. There's a couple of the things I left out, but they gotta get all those colors together, and then they let go of it, and they're like, forget it, we don't need to go home, and then they just accidentally find the purple with all they're like jamming, and purple came out of it, and then the door to their house is purple. So then they paint their door, and then it just goes, and now it's like a portal, and they just walk through, and they're home. You know, it's like they painted it, and it became magic, and it's like became real, and it was like a doorway in the temple that they could walk through, and it was like a portal, and then they just were like, come on, you guys, and then a whole bunch of them went through, and then it rained. And then it rained on the other side. That'll be like the end scene. It's raining and the painting is like blurry, and then they can't get back to that planet now. They're all stuck there now. They can't go back unless they paint that place. That's book 2. I don't know. Maybe it's a whole other story. Who knows? There you go. That's the story I came up with once upon a time about a wizard and a raccoon.